Hi, I'm Isaac from Raycom, and today I'm joined by my colleague Andy, and we're going to have a look at the Phonak Rog'er discrete earpiece. These earpieces have been on the market for a few years now, but we're going to go through a few tips and tricks that help you make great use of this fabulous little product.
Okay, and I believe we're going to start with the earpiece.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the core of the Rog'er system. It's the place where all the magic happens. Yeah, this tiny little thing here, which you can see is very, very small. This is the housing. It includes in there a battery to power it, which goes in this housing at the back. We'll move that door at the back. We'll move on to that in a moment. The speaker, obviously, and the receiver. So no belt packs, no cables. It's all there within this little single unit.
The way I understand it as well, that little piece of plastic on the end, that's not an antenna.
No, yeah, this is the thing that very often people will say. They'll say, you know, ah, yes, I can see the aerial. Now, what frequency is that? Because the aerial's quite short.
Yeah.
It's not. The aerial is helically wound inside the unit itself. The reason for this is so you can get it out of your ear, because these fit so neatly into the ear and they're flat at the back. There's no way that you could actually grab hold of this to pull it out your ear. So this little spigot there is so you can grab it and slide it out.
Now, I'm assuming that this is not going to be the same as a normal earphone. You can't just push this in your ear and it works. No, I mean, you know, it can do. You know, yeah.
if it's making a noise. You know, in fact, you know, when this is receiving, you can hear it away from your ear. When you pop it into your ear, it becomes obviously louder. But there is a distinct way of you actually putting a Rog'er earpiece in the ear. You'll see that it's curved. It's not straight. Some of the early Rog'er earpieces, a different brand name, but from Phonak, were straight, and they did a bit of research on this. I mean, by the way, this comes from the world's largest manufacturer of hearing aids, so they know what they're doing when it comes to devices that are designed to fit in the human ear. And they found out, well, they looked at it when they looked at it more closely, that the human ear canal is actually curved, and it's curved upwards very shortly after you enter the ear canal. It does an upwards turn. So they've built this into the unit so that it sits more comfortably in the ear canal and creates more isolation because it's sitting deeper in the canal. I mean, I can show you the method of inserting an earpiece. I was going to put it in Isaac's ear, but you know, for the sake of decency, I thought we'd stick with a model. And how you install an earpiece in the ear is that you pop it in until it goes in so it's comfortable, and then you give it a little 1/4 to 1/2 twist. And you'll find that as you put it in, it slides up inside the ear canal, and then it really sits nicely. That helps with stability in the ear and also improves the audio quality.
Now, my ear is slightly different size to yours.
Yeah.
But they only come in one size. How do I get that to fit if I've got a bigger ear canal, for example? Okay,
and that is the case. I mean, I've got tiny ear canals and I can just about get one in, but I'm unusual in that respect. A lot of people, for comfort and also for further isolation, if they've got a larger ear canal, you need a device called a soft wrap. And I'm just looking around me, and we don't appear to have any soft wraps here, which is a shame because they were here earlier on. Essentially, the soft wrap is a small piece of foam that you curl around the earpiece. It sticks to it. It's removable, so if somebody else is using it, or sometimes they prefer maybe one ear is different to the other, you can remove that piece of foam. But it's a piece of foam that goes in a helical wind around the earpiece itself, and then it will make it sit much nicer, much more snugly in the ear.
Now, you mentioned they're battery powered.
Yeah.
How long do the batteries last?
Well, this is a new Rog'er V2, and the V2 we'll talk a little bit further about that in a moment, but it's identifiable because it's got blue writing for when it says Rog'er earpiece on there. The new V2, 20 hours.
20 hours.
20
wow.
hours from a single zinc air battery.
Yeah, and I understand you can't just use any zinc air battery meant for an earpiece. It's just the Phonak batteries.
It is, and this sounds very much like this is the Phonak branded battery, And it sounds very much like we're trying to promote and sell just Phonak batteries. We're not. There is something about the Phonak battery. There are many A10 zinc air batteries on the market. Yeah, this is the most popular used type of battery in most miniature hearing aids. There's plenty around. I can tell you that the Phonak batteries do, for some reason, and I've never actually managed to really drill it down, but they last 5 times longer than maybe a brand that you may be more familiar with.
And that's actually quite important, because you don't want to be stopping mid-shoot to change your batteries. No,
and with 20 hours on the V2, I mean the V1, Roger, I think probably 12 hours was easily achievable, but to move to 20 hours is quite incredible. It's a day's shooting that you're not going to have any issues with.
12 or 20, you're still going to cover an entire day's shoot.
Yeah, it's good practice to change the battery on a daily basis.
And it's quite easy to do, but there's a little couple of things about it you have to do properly. Can you just run us through changing the battery?
So, taking the battery out of its pack, it comes in this nice little carousel there. There's a little sticker on top of the battery. You take that away, and that can go now. And the reason why you've taken that sticker off, I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but on top of the battery there is a very tiny hole, and that's to let the air in. This is a zinc air battery. When you let the air in, it starts a chemical process.
Yeah, which can't be undone.
No, putting that sticker back on isn't going to make any difference. It started.
You've pulled the pin on the grenade now.
But it is important, it is important to get some air into that to get the process going before you put it inside the unit. So leave it out of the, like this. It doesn't matter about touching the battery, that doesn't have a problem at all. Let it breathe for a little moment.
It's about 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds, a minute will be fine. And then you simply open the battery door. At the back, there's a little cradle there. You can see that that one end of the battery is pointed to a degree, other end's very flat. It drops in, and there's a little shelf there that sits in there.
And it only fits one way.
It does only fit one way, yeah. And then when you close the door, you get a small click as you close the door. That's it. The Rog'er earpiece is now on.
It's on now.
There's no on and off switch on that. That is on, and if you do want to pause it for a moment, not that you're likely to really want to pause it, because you may as well leave it running.
Yeah.
You've got 20 hours battery life, so you've got plenty of time to play with. So normally it's closed up for the day, and there it is, it's up and running.
And it'd be the kind of thing you do at the start of a day, before you shoot, change all the batteries, you don't have to worry again till the next day.
Yep.
Easy as.
Another important thing to think about on that daily practice, this little green tip on the end here is called the wax guard.
Yeah.
This gets onto the sensitive subjects of, which some people don't like. It's a strange thing, but everybody's ears produce wax. It's a medical. There's medical reasons behind it. It's to keep your ears clean and free of dust and all this sort of thing. Everybody produces wax. Some people produce a little bit more than others, and therefore, from time to time, there is chances of a small remnant of wax finding its way towards the Rog'er.
Yeah.
It's obvious, really. The wax guard on the front stops any little particles of wax actually entering down the very narrow canal that leads down to, or the narrow tube that leads down to the speaker of the Rog'er. And of course, these things will do their job. They'll get a little bit of wax on them, and they'll get a bit gunked up themselves. You may not even be able to see it. Little tiny molecules and particles will get there.
Because we're working with such a small product, even the smallest of bit can really cause it an issue.
It can happen. A little lump of wax can kill one of these units. Not permanently, of course, but it'll stop. It'll sound like the RF path has stopped, but it's actually just a tiny little bit of wax that's caused the problem.
Normally, when there's an issue with an earpiece, it's normally down to wax.
Yeah, I'd say 90% of the time. I don't think we've sold many hundreds and hundreds of these Rog'er earpieces now. I could probably count on my hand the number of units that have actually had an electronic failure.
Yeah.
I can tell you a lot of instances where we've had them back, we've given them a good clean, and returned them very happily to previous owner.
It's all about maintenance really, isn't it? As long as you do the daily battery changes and
the
wax guard changes.
And the wax guard change is a really, really simple process. I'm going to attempt it on here because I haven't got my glasses on, I can't quite see what's going on. But you pop it into this little, almost like a knife edge there. You flick off. There we go. We've lost the old earpiece there. You then move round on the funky little carousel to a new piece. You pop it on the table to give you a bit of traction behind it. What did they say? Never work with children, animals, or wax guard. And you push that in there, give it a pull, and there it is. There's the new wax guard in place.
Now, I hadn't actually done one of these, and I did it for the first time, and it is as easy as literally just pushing down on it. It just clicks itself straight into place.
There you
go. So what if, obviously we have two presenters today, and we might want to use two of the earpieces. Do they cause an issue if we've got two in the same place?
No, I mean, two earpieces, you can have as many earpieces as you like. I mean, this is a receiver. The various transmitter options are the transmitters, unlimited amount of receivers, so you can spread them far and wide.
Yeah. And what about volume? There's no volume control on there. How do I change the volume we get through?
Yeah, good question. You may remember that in the past with the predecessor of this product, the Invisity, that actually had a high-low volume.
Yeah, quite difficult
switch
to get
on it. One, it's because it's usually in somebody's ear and they want to keep it there, and two, you know, particularly in these days of distancing and COVID rules, you know, going too close to talent, that is an issue. But this does have a solution. There's a product that we'll go on to talk about later on called the touchscreen, which in itself is a little transmitter, but it's also a control, a remote control for the Rog'er earpiece. And you simply hold it close to the Rog'er earpiece and you can pop the volume up and down.
You can name them as well, can't you?
Yes, you can, you know, so as it recognises it's close to that particular earpiece, it'll pop up there and tell you, you know, who you're dealing with and whose earpiece is there.
Well, for me, that's covered most of the general points on the earpiece. Andy, have you got any other points you want to mention?
No, I mean, one thing that people perhaps aren't aware of is that there are two colours of the Rog'er earpiece. There's a beige colour and a mid to dark brown. So there's the Rog'er earpiece for the majority of skin types and colours.
That's it for the Phonak Rog'er. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and a special thanks to Andy for his help today. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.